The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Today on Aging Horizons, we're going to be speaking with Melissa Dale, who's a program manager for the Montana Arthritis Program. She's going to be covering for us what actually is arthritis, what are some of the treatments available for people who are suffering, and how prevalent it isn't around Montana and nationally, and where you can go for resources in your community. So you're not going to want to miss today's Aging Horizons with Melissa Dale. So make sure you stay tuned.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
If the Aging Network in Montana was a restaurant, the sign out front would say, over 50 million meals served over the last 30 years. Since adequate nutrition is critical to health and quality of life, nutrition services are an important factor in keeping older Montanans healthy, independent, and living in their community and home. To find out more about senior nutrition programs in your area, call 1-800-551-3191.
Final call from flight 566.
Hello, gentlemen. May I see your Montana Real IDs?
IDs? Why, I'm Captain Meriwether Lewis.
And I'm Captain William Clark.
Hang on, I see more than one William Clark.
It's the real me, I promise.
Discover more at mtrealid.gov. Available now.
Montana Real ID. It's the real me.
And me.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Katie Lovell, and today we're speaking with Melissa Dale, who's the program manager for the Montana's Arthritis Program. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Melissa, what is arthritis?
That is a great question. So when a lot of people think about arthritis, they think about joint pain and inflammation in the joints, and that's exactly what it is. If you break down the word arthritis, arth actually means joint and itis means inflammation. So the actual word of arthritis literally means inflammation in the joints. And with arthritis, unfortunately, what we see over time is it actually damages people's joints, and it makes your joints just have a lot of pain, extreme stiffness in there. So that is one thing that we are here at the Montana Arthritis Program are working to improve the health and well-being of people who have arthritis and help them stay independent as long as possible while they have arthritis.
And Melissa, I probably should have started with that. What is the Montana Arthritis Program?
Oh, great question. So the Montana Arthritis Program, as you mentioned, we are in the Department of Public Health and Human Services, and we work with a number of national agencies like the Arthritis Foundation Program, the National Association of Chronic Disease Directors, and the CDC to implement evidence-based programs in Montana. And then with that, we're able to work with local organizations across Montana, from extension agents to gyms, to implement arthritis evidence-based programs. And we'll talk about those classes later on.
Great. Melissa, is arthritis sort of a one-time condition? Do you get it like the common cold and then it goes away? Or is this more of a chronic condition?
This is more of a chronic condition. So unfortunately, once you get arthritis, you have arthritis for a lifetime. But there are things that you can do to help mitigate the pain and the stiffness of having arthritis. But, you know, everybody's different with arthritis. And surprisingly, and I didn't know this until I started working for the arthritis program, that there's actually 100 different types of arthritis strains out there. Yeah, so we tend to think of usually a few arthritis, such as osteoarthritis. That's actually one of the most popular arthritises out there, which that one is referred to, a lot of people refer it to as a wear and tear arthritis, because that happens when your joints, they're inside your joints, you have a cushion inside your joints that helps you be able to flex and bend your hands and knees, whatever joint. But over time, what happens with osteoarthritis is that cushion inside your joint ends up wearing down, and then you end up having bone on bone, which makes it extremely painful for people who have that issue. Some other arthritises that we tend to hear often is rheumatoid arthritis. This arthritis is different from osteoarthritis, because with osteoarthritis, it's, you know, just how you live your life, and over time you have that wear and tear in your body. Sure. But with rheumatoid arthritis, this is actually a disease that you can get, and we don't know why yet. They're thinking, scientists may be thinking that this is a genetic issue, but what happens is your body actually attacks itself and attacks its own joints, which makes it extremely painful for people who end up having rheumatoid arthritis. Another arthritis that a lot of people are aware of or think about is gout. And gout is very unique because you'll be fine one day, and then the next day you'll have extreme pain in one of your joints, such as it usually starts in your big toe. And then over time, if you don't take care of it, it'll start affecting all the other joints within your body. So it is really important to, if you think you have arthritis or you know you have arthritis, to work with your healthcare provider to make sure you're getting the right diagnosis and taking the right medications, doing the correct lifestyle modifications you need to do to prevent any additional damage, because arthritis actually is the leading cause of disability. And so people who end up having arthritis, they end up losing their ability to be independent, because they are having a harder and harder time being able to do just certain everyday life activities, like opening a jar, holding a cup to drink your water, even walking. So it's really important, if you know you have arthritis, to help manage that. So, and we are seeing, who we usually are seeing who have arthritis is, we tend to see women have arthritis more. People who are from lower income households, and I think this is just more attributed to the type of work that they're doing. They kind of do more manual work. Veterans have arthritis at a higher rate than the general population. And then people who are living in the rural areas, surprisingly, also have higher rates of arthritis. And we also see higher rates of arthritis in overweight and obese individuals. And it's partly just due to the extra body weight that's putting strain onto their joints. And one thing I didn't mention yet, but with arthritis, it doesn't discriminate. So anybody at any race can get arthritis. And then one thing people think about when they think of arthritis, they think, oh, it's an old person's disease. And it's really not. It's actually anybody at any age can have arthritis. We see a lot of children have arthritis. Sure. And then a lot of working age people also have arthritis.
Melissa, when we get back, I'd like to talk about a little bit about how many people nationwide and across Montana are suffering from this disease. So make sure you stay tuned.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
You mean I can get help paying my prescription drug premiums?
Let me get this straight. I could be eligible for help with my family's prescription premiums even though I own my own home?
And our assets won't be counted.
If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you could be eligible for help paying your premiums. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out, even if you think you're over income.
What do you know about that? I'm eligible.
I was outside working on some equipment, nothing too strenuous. I started sweating and feeling out of breath.
When he felt pressure in his chest and aching in his arms, I knew we had to call 911.
First responders were there before we knew it. 38 minutes later, the doctors had restored the blood flow to my heart.
Now we know dialing 911 saved his life.
Your life is on the line.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
When I found out it was diabetes, my first thought was, Barb, you need help. You have to take control of this. There is help. My doctor gave me a phone number. I called and signed up with a diabetes educator. There is help. I have to put blinders on when I walk past the bakery counter. I can feel my blood sugar go up. You succeed a little at a time. If you have diabetes, help is available. You do not have to do it alone.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. Today we're speaking with Melissa Dale, who's the program manager for the Montana Arthritis Program. Melissa, how big of a program is arthritis in Montana?
So arthritis in Montana, we actually have higher rates of arthritis compared to nationally. So in Montana, about 27% of adults report having arthritis.
Wow.
While in nationally 24%. So it's still both very high, but we are continuing to the last 5 years always leading the rates for arthritis, which is unfortunate. And I think a lot of it is just the rural nature of Montana and some of the jobs that we do. So people just over time have a wear and tear osteoarthritis, and then they end up having arthritis. And one thing that we are finding here in Montana is we've done some surveys and we found people who have arthritis here. Of those who reported saying, yes, they had arthritis, 75% reported that they have some type of daily limitations. So like we were talking about earlier, whether that's holding a cup or opening a jar or walking. So this is a big deal because this really reduces the limitations for people to be able to be independent. And over time, if you don't take care of your arthritis, your joint pain will actually, pain and stiffness does become worse. And then disability or arthritis is the #1 cause of disability.
That's amazing. Melissa, when most people think about arthritis, they think about just older people. But there are types of arthritis that affect people under the age of 65 as well. Is that true?
That is true. And it's actually surprising. Almost 50% of people who have arthritis are actually working age people. So from 18 to 64 years old. And then 65 and plus represent the rest of the people who have arthritis. So, and actually a lot of kids, we have about 7,000 kids, I think, in Montana who also have arthritis. So yeah, it's very serious and it affects everybody.
I imagine that the cost of medical care and health care for people dealing with these issues is probably astronomical.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It really is.
What does arthritis look like in Montana?
Are you asking as far as who has it?
Yeah, and then how does that affect communities all across the state?
Yeah, so the people who we're seeing, like we mentioned earlier, people who have lower income, for their household, women, veterans. And what this looks like is just people having a harder time with doing their daily activities, being able to have to rely on more people more often, having joint pain and stiffness, or they're not even able to do some of their work that they would like to do. And we actually do see arthritis is actually very expensive. There's a lot of people who have to end up calling in sick, and just nationally, it's about $128 million arthritis costs the economy, whether that is just lost in wages that they couldn't go to work, or with medical treatments.
Absolutely. Melissa, once someone has arthritis, what can they do to help deal with their pain?
That is a great question. So once somebody has arthritis, or if you suspect you have arthritis, or you're looking at ways to prevent arthritis, there are several things that you can do. There's unfortunately no magic bullet to prevent arthritis, because like I mentioned, there's about 100 different types of arthritis. So some are genetic and some are wear and tear. But if you do have arthritis, a couple of the things that you can do is, if you are obese or overweight, or even if the doctor just mentioned kind of lowering your body weight, but managing your body weight to a healthy body weight can really help with the pain and the joint pressure. If you lose 1 pound of body weight, you can actually take off of 4 pounds of pressure on your joints, which is huge. Wow, yeah. So just 1 pound can take off 4 pounds of pressure on your joints. And those are those joints, like those weight-bearing joints, like the hips and the knees and the ankles, and that'll really help out.
Sure.
Some other things that you can do is to be physically active. And I know this is like, I say this and people are like, I have arthritis, it hurts my joints, I feel stiff, I don't want to move. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. But it's actually the best thing you can do is to be physically active. And there's actually been studies showing if you are physically active, it does about the same amount as if you took an over-the-counter painkiller. So being physically active can help manage that body weight, like we were talking about a second ago. Other things that it can do can help strengthen your muscles, which is very important, especially around your joints. If you start losing muscle mass and muscle strength around your joints, the muscles actually hold your joints in place. And if you don't have that, then you start losing that stability with that muscle, so that your joints start moving around. And then trying to prevent any further joint injuries. Making sure if you're going to do sports or working, you're using proper equipment to maintain your joints. And then just a few things, just making sure you're working with your healthcare provider and working with them, making sure you're taking the correct medication if you need that.
Absolutely.
And then,
Melissa, when we get back, I'm sure there are a lot of programs that Montana has to help people who are living with arthritis. So I'd love to discuss those with you when we get back. So make sure you stay tuned to Aging Horizons.
Providing long-term care for someone in need is a labor of love, but it is a labor. Time apart is healthy and necessary both for the caregiver and the person receiving care. It allows each a respite, time to relax and recharge. If you're a long-term caregiver, visit the new Lifespan Respite website. Financial assistance may be available. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, but my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Summer in Montana is a great time to visit your local farmers market. Enjoy the social atmosphere while shopping for a wide variety of fresh, locally grown produce. Together with both WIC and Senior Farmers Market nutrition programs, you help feed your family 5 or more daily servings of fruits and vegetables for better health. You also help local ag producers and enhance the state's economy. So, for summer fun that's nutritious and helps Montana's economy, shop at your local farmers market.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. Today we're speaking with Melissa Dale, who's the program manager for the Montana Arthritis Program. Melissa, today is May, and May is National Arthritis Month. And so is a great time for people to reach out to community programs about their arthritis. What kind of programs exist across Montana?
Yeah, great question. So earlier we talked about some of the things that you can do on your own to help reduce arthritis pain, but if you're interested in looking for more programs, we do support several arthritis approved programs to help you be able to manage your pain, your arthritis pain, and just be able to live a better life. Our first program is called Montana Living Life Well. This is actually an educational program, and it's really actually open for anybody with arthritis or not arthritis. It doesn't actually focus on arthritis, it focuses on chronic health conditions. This class teaches people how to cope with their chronic health condition and learn new skills. And one of the things that this class does is, even though it's a class, you don't actually have a teacher standing up there telling you what to do. You actually talk amongst yourselves and talk about, different things you can help manage your chronic health conditions. And we have found people who come through this class, they have improved exercise, which we talked about earlier, is you need to exercise with arthritis. They actually have a decrease in pain and fatigue, which is huge. If you have arthritis, you want to have decrease in pain, especially in that joint pain. Sure. And then there's also just decrease in depression and fear and frustration of your chronic health conditions. We also have 2 other classes that we support, and these are exercise programs. The first one's called the Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program, and this one is located throughout Montana. And this one, it's an exercise program that focuses on joint safe movements that are gentle on your joints. And so one of the things that I didn't mention earlier, but when you are, if you have arthritis, we want you to stay physically active because it does make you feel better, because motion is lotion. So by being physically active, taking some of these classes, these exercise classes, will actually help your joints be more flexible, and you can always think of motion is lotion. And so the Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program, it meets twice a week for about 45 to 60 minutes. And you can do this class either sitting down, standing up. It really is for your, whatever your fitness ability is. And they do very safe joint movements. It can be as simple as touching your fingers to your thumb, just keep things moving around. And so it's very fun and easy class. And then our second class that we offer for exercise is called the Walk with Ease program. And this program is the only walking arthritis approved program. And we have found people who go through this have a decrease in fatigue and pain level, and they learn how to exercise properly with having arthritis and not aggravating your arthritis. And the Walk with Ease program, we actually have this all over the Montana. We have it as community classes, so you can meet up as a group and walk as a group together, or we also have it as a self-directed version. And we see a lot of our work sites are picking this class up. And so we did mention earlier that there are a lot of working age people who have arthritis. And so there is this class that's being offered as a as a worksite wellness program. So if you have arthritis and you're looking for something, definitely check out your worksite wellness program and see what kind of exercise programs they have available for you. And for people who have gone through these classes, overall, people do fare better, they feel better, and so we really encourage people to get in part of these classes. We try to get these classes all across Montana, and you can find that we have that. You can find where our classes are located. You can give us a call or look us up online. And if you go to our online Montana Arthritis program, there's a map in there that will show you exactly where the classes are being offered. You can find your county, click on that county, and it'll tell you who's offering the class and when and where, and then you can go to those classes.
And do people need to check with a physician before starting a program like this?
We definitely recommend to start, check with your physician, make sure everything's okay, but you do not need to have a letter from your doctor to attend any of these classes. You can just show up if any of these sound interesting to you.
That's wonderful. And it's so good that helps get people moving all the way through their community as well, to that motion is lotion, keeping your joints just moving the way that they should be.
Yes. And, if you don't have any of these classes in your community, like I said, we're trying to get these classes everywhere, but we don't have them everywhere yet. But you can also do other exercise programs, whether it's walking on your own, or if you have a water aerobics class or a Tai Chi class in your community, take something. Like we said, motion is lotion, so keep yourself active. It'll help you feel better in the long run, even if you don't feel like it at that moment.
And in choosing one of those classes, people just need to be aware of the impact on their joints or the type of exercise.
Apologize, can you say that again?
When people are looking for classes like that, they're just looking for something that's low impact on their joints or something that they feel like they could complete?
Yes.
Good, great. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for being with us today. I know I learned quite a bit about arthritis, and especially since we got to have you in May for the National Arthritis Month. Thanks for sharing all that great information. And we'll put that phone number on the website back up so that people can go to your website and get in touch with you. So thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for joining us on Aging Horizons today. And make sure you stay tuned every week.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.